Good morning. Attention, chiropractors, slayers of subluxation, unleashers of the imprisoned impulse. I am Dr. Anthony Pellegrino from ChiroEdge, and welcome to this week's edition of the Chiropractic Research Breakdown, where each week we break down the relevant chiropractic science, philosophy, and art necessary to help you change the health of your community from the inside out. Super excited to be here with this morning. It's about a little bit before 5 a.m. and I'm excited. This weekend, I am at Dr. Marcia Schaefer's ICPA seminar out in Columbus, Ohio. It's been good to get some of her awesome knowledge on nutrition for the perinatal, prenatal, and just life. Something that, as you guys know, I'm obviously interested in stuff like that because I believe in healing from the inside out. I'm not necessarily as passionate about things like nutrition, but it's really good to learn about that stuff. So, shout out to you, Dr. Schaefer. It's been awesome. I love your heart for science and evidence and applying it to a principled fashion. So, super excited to jump back into that today. So, getting into it, we're going to dive into some bullshit from the Texas Chiropractic College, if you can even call yourself that. Shoot, where the heck did my tablet go? I'm currently at the abode, former residence of Dr. Tim Zittle, in Columbus, Ohio, while he is getting ready to open up his practice in Denver, so he's out there. Make sure you surround yourself with people like Dr. Tim. I was like, hey man, you gonna be in town for when I'm in Columbus? He's like, no, I'm gonna be in Denver, but I'm gonna leave the key for my place for you under my mat, and which is just awesome. So he's not here. I'm in his place. It's pretty nice. Thanks, Dr. Tim. So what we're going to check out today is published in the British Chiropractic Journal, an article, research done at Texas Chiropractic College called Immediate Effects of Atlas Manipulation on Cardiovascular Physiology. Okay. Look at it right off the bat. Manipulation is not an adjustment, but we can get into that. We've heard me rant on that a couple times. But yeah. So they looked at, and their conclusion was the results of research suggest that cardiovascular physiology is not affected by chiropractic manipulative therapy of the atlas in normotensive individuals. Not affected. All right, so obviously I read that, and first I pucker up a little bit, and then I have to kind of explore a little bit of why. Would something like an atlas adjustment not affect cardiovascular physiology? And I understand that how can you just have research that says, well, atlas adjustment affects cardiovascular physiology? Well, how do you know that individual is subluxated at the atlas, whatever? So anyway, going into it, their methods here is just really makes me want to die inside. All right, check this out. Participants were equally randomized into 4 study groups. Left head turn control, which is a control group, okay? No contact control, which is sham adjustment. Left atlas manipulation. And right atlas manipulation. So they're just manipulating the atlas, the C1, where the brainstem goes through, where literally our profession is founded on. They're just manipulating this with no analysis, not even analysis to say what direction is the atlas subluxated. I mean, I understand maybe in research if you believe that an adjustment is for joint dysfunction and not for neurological control, which we know is bull. But if you believe that, I understand maybe not having a directional adjustment, just kind of moving it for the sake of moving that, if that's what you believe. But they're not even assessing for joint dysfunction. They're just simply manipulating and moving the atlas and comparing what happens if you move it from the left or from the right. How the heck is that chiropractic? That's not chiropractic. That's crazy. Who would let somebody just rack and crack their atlas with zero evaluation? That's nuts to me. And this is done at a supposed chiropractic college? Are you crazy? Not only would I not expect to see a cardiovascular response because you're not actually adjusting something, that's harmful. That's harmful. So they said there's no cardiovascular responses. And whatever. I understand people have different thoughts of what chiropractic is. They have different thoughts. They think that an adjustment is a spinal manipulation, and they think that joint dysfunction is a subluxation, and it's not, right? And it's not. And this is why you hear me week after week and after week after week asking us to demand more from those in our profession who are supposedly principled, who use words like joint dysfunction, who use words like manipulation because they want to get it into a better journal. Because people don't understand, and they take that and they run with it, and they think, well, now a manipulation and joint dysfunction is what chiropractic is. They don't understand that, oh, well, I did a neurological evaluation and I adjusted, but I didn't want to use adjustment and I didn't want to do subluxation because I wanted it to be a better journal. Like, no. Now there's going to be some student at TCC who's maybe thinking about getting into principled chiropractic, who wants a little bit more evidence, and he's going to look for professors in his school that did this research that says, no, it's bull, it can't affect cardiovascular physiology. And they're going to be turned away, and they're going to end up just being a metapractor because chiropractic doesn't work. No. First off, the goal is not to just change cardiovascular physiology. The goal is to allow the body to heal and function at 100% of its best. And you can look at research on HRV, on thermography, on SEMG, on all the wonderful stuff that Insight and MyoVision, all these different people are doing, and you can see that it's changing autonomic control. It's improving autonomic control, and yes, sometimes that leads to a boost in the immune system. Sometimes it leads to changes in cardiovascular physiology, but overall changing the autonomic control, improving it to allow each and every person to heal and function 100% of their best, that is what chiropractic is about. Not randomly manipulating the atlas to see how blood pressure and pulse oxygen changes. All right, so that's my rant on that. Now, actually getting into something that's not just me complaining about stupid people is going to be research out of, I don't remember where it's published. I think it's out of the journal Sleep. It's called Nocturnal Enuresis is associated with differences in autonomic control. Now we're going to be talking about bedwetting and the autonomic nervous system. This isn't a chiropractic article, by the way, coming up. This is just a medical article talking about physiology. Now, 15% of 5-year-olds and 10% of 10-year-olds suffer with nocturnal enuresis or bedwetting. It's often thought to be a bladder problem and a breathing problem. Those two things. Accepted theories in the literature are natural delay of bladder response for whatever reason. So the bladder doesn't respond quickly and kid wets themselves. Increased threshold for sleep arousal, which means they don't wake up as easily, so they wet themselves. Weird bladder dynamics or impaired hormonal cascades. Now, these researchers sought out to look at and see why they had been finding a huge association with nocturnal enuresis and obstructive sleep apnea. So what about a breathing problem? What changes with obstructive sleep apnea that makes kiddos with OSA or obstructive sleep apnea have such higher rates of bedwetting? The mechanism that they wanted to explore was that airway obstruction from sleep apnea led to increased intrathoracic pressure, so increased pressure in the chest area, right? Which lead to an increased myocardial stretch, which released natriuretic peptides, which inhibited ADH, which led to night pee. All right? So they wanted to explore that. They did polysomnography, which is a sleep study that measures brain waves, O2 levels in the blood, or pulse ox, which we just found from the Arnold Journal. Obviously, chiropractic does not affect, aka random atlas manipulation, but this is why this is important. Heart rate, breathing, eye and leg movements, and blood pressure. So this test, polysomnography, is a sleep study that gives huge insights into the neurological control, the autonomic control over cardiac and respiration during sleep. So what they found was that in these kids with nocturnal enuresis, they found abnormalities in respiration, depression of heart rate at night, and disruption in the variability of oxygen and carbon dioxide parameters, which support a mechanism of improper autonomic control of children with nocturnal enuresis. So OSA, or obstructive sleep apnea, they say is thought to be a major contributor. And because of that, in many of these cases, doctors are performing adenotonsillectomies to try to help the sleep apnea, and therefore try to help the bedwetting. And what they found was that it didn't correct the bedwetting in 50% of children. So they're looking for other ways, but it's just something they're trying to do because, I mean, it still helps 50%. And if there's sleep apnea anyway, then figuring out what's going on. So what they say, and this is a direct quote, is that our results raise the possibility that autonomic disruption, I love the term, autonomic disruption is an important contributor to nocturnal enuresis and a plausible link between nocturnal enuresis and obstructive sleep apnea in children. They failed to define defects in urine concentrating ability, meaning that it's not necessarily a bladder problem. So this pattern suggests, and this is from the conclusion in the abstract, this pattern suggests that autonomic control, rather than renal or hemodynamic or abnormalities, may lead to the pathophysiology of nocturnal enuresis. So let's go back to this and explore my problem with the first study as well. When we talk about bedwetting, if you go on to something like the ICPA page, or if you just go to any of whatever pages you're in, a lot of times doctors will talk about, oh, you have bedwetting, adjust the sacrum, adjust the sacrum, adjust the sacrum, adjust the sacrum, check the sacrum. And yeah, obviously you should be checking it, and their thought is because the way that the pelvic splanchnic nerves go out and control things and contribute to things like bladder function as well. But if you, the same way that bullshit out of the TCC is saying that, or looking at how if you randomly manipulate the atlas, it's not going to change cardiovascular function, guess what? Chances are if you randomly manipulate the sacrum, it's not going to affect bedwetting. Not that chiropractic's for a specific symptom. Because chiropractic is not for a specific symptom. All it's about is for correcting subluxation, and subluxation needs to actually be present. So you can check the sacrum, but the bottom line is that it's not necessarily a bladder problem, it's an autonomic nervous system problem. So what's going to affect the function of the autonomic nervous system? Everything. Wherever there is subluxation. Yes, in the upper cervical area. And yes, in the lower lumbar and sacral area, because that does affect parasympathetic nervous system function, right? Yes, it absolutely does. But let's use this to our advantage. Let's measure things. Let's measure autonomic activity. Let's measure it. Let's have objective indications like thermography, SEMG, and HRV. Let's know and be able to say when a parent comes to us, can this help? Can I help my kid's bedwetting? I heard it could help. You know, honestly, I don't know. But what I do know is that we are going to improve the function of their nervous system. We are going to improve the brain's ability to control their body. And here's all this research that says that, yes, when that does improve, it can affect things like bedwetting. But the bottom line is your child is going to be better off. Now, do you want to do that? When we understand what normal is, when we understand what abnormal is, when we use medical, pharmaceutical research, it all supports chiropractic. Right? It all supports chiropractic. You show this article a medical doctor because it's theirs. You're like, autonomic control. Does that affect? Yeah, oh yeah, that's really interesting. Blah, 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 blah. What drugs can we give to improve autonomic control? No. Let's try this because we have all this data that shows that we can help the very same things that they say are the mechanism and the very same things they are the cause for this. Right? So take that with you. Know that when you see these cases come to your office this coming week, don't just check the sacrum because those nerves go to the bladder. No. Check the nervous system. Have objective outcome measures. Know exactly what's going on. Be able to perform a gentle, specific, and scientific, evidence-based chiropractic adjustment to correct the cause of nerve interference in the body to allow them to heal and function 100%. That's my rant. This is going to be one of the articles that we have coming out for you guys. If you guys are subscribed to ChiroEdge, you can get a ChiroEdge, a free trial, 2-week free trial at chiroedgemedia.com. For you, those of you guys who don't know what that is a service where we take articles, 3 different research articles like this each and every week, and we put it down. This is going to be, for our clients, is going to be a really digestive, easily digestible patient newsletter for them this week, for them to be able to use and educate their practice members on normal physiology and be able to start thinking about it when they meet somebody whose kiddo's suffering with bedwetting. They'll be able to better refer them in, something we see all the time. Other articles that we're going to have as well out this week is going to be something that I got from Dr. John Chung, which is research, CBP research, looking at changes in the sagittal cervical curve related to concussion recovery, specifically neck pain and dizziness. And the last one is going to be looking at the function of the nervous system, specifically the vagus nerve and different areas of the brain that are associated with tinnitus, ringing in the ears, and how by understanding the physiology there, we can be well educated and know that, once again, improving the function of the nervous system. That's the reason that we do help these people with tinnitus. It's not that we give a tinnitus adjustment, that we improve the function of the nervous system, and that, yes, tinnitus is a nervous system issue. All right, so this has been Dr. Anthony Pellegrino with another weekly research breakdown from ChiroEdge. Please, if you're watching this live on Facebook, that's awesome. Make sure, if you want the audio format, it'll be better quality. That's why I have this microphone right here. Hopefully I remembered to hit record this time. But you can subscribe to the Chiropractic Research Breakdown, and that's on your podcast service of choice. Have a great day. Keep slaying those subluxations this week.